GFN Global Filipino Network. Vilma, live in LA, Season 2, Episode 22. Hi and welcome to Vilma Live in LA, Season 2, Episode 22. And tonight we have Renzo Vergara, who is a singer-songwriter and a music producer in the Philippines. We also have part 2 of Mercado's interview and Donna Avellana Kunzler, part 2 of her interview. She is an award-winning author. So that and much more. Plus, I've got the out and about. We go to Chinatown. That is Loreta and I. It was so much fun. So we're going to show you that. And we also have our hellos and loads of good stuff right here on Vilma Live in LA on the GFN channel, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live.
Happy birthday to my Donna, and I miss you, and I miss you very so much, and I wish you were here so I can hug you. I love you. Birthday today! Woohoo! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lola. Happy birthday to you. Happy T1's birthday. Happy birthday, Lola. You are 83.
I think so.
And I hope you have a great time in heaven having a cloud cake and cloud chicken, cloud adobo, and cloud rice.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a great time in heaven, Lola.
In your arms like you used to do. Make me live again like before. There is nothing else that I ask of you than just to be the one you love once more. We can make it happen, happen again. We can make it again. We can turn the clock back, baby, and then we can make it. We can make it again. Remember how we laughed together.
Wanted to ask you about, what, not just passion, but it's something that you really are doing with your life at the moment.
I've been searching for the kind of spirituality that will go with my kind of personality. But initially, I was introduced to the Ignatian spirituality, but they do not have a third order. So I went into that. I was exposed to Ignatian is Jesuit. And with the parish that I'm a servant at, it's run by the Carmelite friars.
Okay.
And I went into the renewal, Catholic renewal, and now I'm working on hopefully becoming the oblates that I should be of Saint Benedict. So I do the rule of Saint Benedict, the spirituality of Saint Benedict.
That's good. It's wonderful. Are you able to also still have music, any kind of music?
One thing with the Benedictine spirituality is they make use of the talent that you have, and they accept it. And if you can glorify the Lord with whatever talent that you have, they allow that.
Yes.
Which is good. And I'm an artist. Not only that, most of the big concerts that I did, the joint concerts, I directed. I put together acts for fundraisers, for charities, and that's what I do now. So,
Yes,
and
yes.
of course, with my connection with the entertainment, so I know a lot of artists that I can tap to help out.
Lady, I'm your knight in shining armor, and I love you. You have made me what I am, and I am yours. My love, there's so many ways I want to say I love you. Let me hold you in my arms forevermore.
One of my contemporaries who just became a national artist last year is Brian Kayabyaw.
Uh-huh.
And I've worked with national artists like I was with the Bayanihan Dance Company in the early 70s. And when I was searching on what sort of field in the arts I will be doing prior to my singing, I did theater. I did I took a ballet, and I was with the Bayanihan Dance Company. So I worked with Lucrecia Casilag, who passed on sometime in the 90s, and she is a national artist. So with my experience, so I get to do a lot of things, and I have a concept of how to put together a show that will be entertaining. And it helped me a lot in leaving the country, the Philippines, to have an outside look of what entertainment is outside the country.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point, because you really have to know your audience, the culture, the people. Where will you be performing?
That's correct.
Are important to have a very successful event, a show.
We are working on, because we would like Willie Cruz. Are you familiar with Willie Cruz, the composer? He composed the song Kahit Na, Kumusta Ka, Never Ever Say Goodbye.
Yes.
Okay. He passed on a few years back, and my contemporaries like it. It's Celeste Legaspi who spearheaded this project. So we asked our contemporaries to name the singers. The ladies are, of course, Celeste, Marie Chris Vermont, Louis Reyes, who is based in Burbank, Ivy Violan, Lea Navarro, Carla Martinez, Nanette Inventor, and Pat Castillo, among ladies, and myself, Noni Zuniga, and Haji Alejandro. We made a medley of his songs, and we asked a dear friend of Willie and ours to do the arrangement. Our national artist, Ryan Kayabyaw, who put together the medley of songs, and it'll come out.
Yeah.
So the music is done, but the video is now being worked on. So when everything is complete, I hope that I'll be able to share the material.
Absolutely.
And let us just hope that he will become our national artist in music.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime. And so, finally, Ding, any advice out there, any message for all of our viewers? I always ask this because each individual, there's so much heart that they can share with everyone.
The most important thing is your identity, your original identity, who you are when you are performing. You cannot be somebody else. It's okay to be influenced, but you have to have something of your own to show for you to stand out as who you are. So you have to be true to yourself. You have to put your 100% passion in what you're doing, and you always have to work on being better.
Yes.
Because there's always room for improvement.
Yes, I totally.
And if I may inject some Benedictine spirituality here,
Yes,
okay?
please.
When you join a group, it is always good to know that there is somebody better than you are, but they can never be you. Because you are you, and they cannot be you. They can be better, but they can't take away the fact that you have something of your own.
Each individual is so unique. I believe in that. Totally. Well, thank you so much, Ding, for being on our show.
Pleasure.
You're welcome right here on Vilma Live in LA. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vilma.
Yeah, so first about the book. So The Overseas Fabulous Pinay, it's a modern Filipinas handbook on how to thrive abroad. So it's a self-help book, especially written for overseas Filipinas or Filipinas who are planning to move overseas. Because in there I tackle questions such as, what are the skills that you need to be able to survive overseas? How do you conduct yourself in the workplace? What are the things that you have to prioritize upon arriving in your destination, within the first 6 months? How do you make friends? How do you integrate eventually in your host country? I even touch on the financial side. So what are the important questions to ask yourself to plan for your future in terms of finances? And lastly, I also cover about self-love. So yeah, this book is really the only book that you'll ever need if you want to plan for your move abroad or you want to make your life abroad more worthwhile.
And so, Donna, you actually have a podcast. I would love to listen to that. So, how can they get a hold of you?
My podcast is called The All Fab Pinays, and with the name, of course, coming from Overseas Fabulous Pinay. I feature Filipinas who are based overseas, who are an embodiment of an overseas fabulous Pinay, meaning they're sophisticated, confident, responsible, proud to be Filipino, and makes the Philippines proud. So every episode, there's one Filipina. Yeah, we talk about their overseas life, their challenges, how they got there, how they overcame them, and inspirational stories. And yeah, the podcast is available on Anchor and Spotify and Apple as well, Apple Podcasts.
Great, great. So we are going to show a link so that they can, on our page, so that they can listen to you. And I see that you dedicated the book to your parents, your mom, and then your dad. Give us a little bit of insight on, your family.
Well, my family, so I grew up in Bacoor, Cavite, in the Philippines. So, yeah, I've never lived anywhere else until I moved abroad. So it was living at home, Yeah, and I have two older sisters. So we're all, Tres Marias. I'm the youngest. My sisters are 10 and 9 years older than me. And my dad was a local CFO of a local company. And my mom was in academia. So she was a college instructor for Cavite State University. She used to teach chemistry. So she's a chemist. And then my dad, he was a certified public accountant, and that's why I kind of followed that path. So I was more into I want to work in the office. I want to be a CPA. No questions asked after I graduated high school, accounting. So yeah.
Well, that's good because that you keep that for life. What struck you the most in the book? What is your favorite part of it?
My favorite part is actually the self-love. Yeah, I really enjoy that. Yeah, and it's the final part of my book because amongst considering everything, especially if you're someone who is really primarily working abroad, it's important to remember that you're the most important person and you should take care of yourself and do what makes you happy so that you can be a better person and you could make use of your experience of living overseas to really grow.
And finally, I always ask this, your message to our viewers out there, anything you want to share.
So if you are dreaming of anything, living abroad, planning, wanting to get more out of your life, please, get my book, give my book a chance, read it, and it's there to help you. So I really hope that it can help people. It can help improve the lives of people. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So Donna, Avellana, Kunzler for being our guest on the show. And we look forward to your 1,000 gazillion% success. And again, hope to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vilma.
Renzo Vergara on Vilma, live in LA.
Magagandang pangarap sabay nating naabutin. Pilipino kulay ko, kalahi ko. Isigaw mo, isigaw mo. Pilipino, isigaw mo sa buong mundo. Pinoy tayo. Pilipino, isigaw mo, dakila ang diba. Pilipino, isigaw mo, ang galing ng Pilipino. Pilipino, isigaw mo, mabuhay tayo. Pilipino, isigaw mo, sa buong mundo. Pilipino, isigaw mo, Pinoy tayo.
Okay, viewers, Vilma live in LA, and guess what? We are zooming over to the Philippines, to Manila. And remember, the Philippine Independence Day show, the special, we actually had Renzo Vergara as a guest when he sang Filipino Tayo, Isigaw Mo. And he is our guest for today. Hi, Renzo.
Hello, Miss Vilma. Hello to the viewers. Good morning. How are you, Miss?
I'm actually good, and thanks for calling me Miss. I feel good.
What would you prefer? What do you prefer? I call you?
It doesn't really matter. Miss Vilma's actually really nice. Thank you so much. Lovely.
Yeah, because here in the Philippines, we call people Miss as a sign of respect as well.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Actually, we do, since we're on that topic, some of my friends here, we do explain that in Asia, everybody's your aunt and your uncle, tia, tito. Even in Hong Kong, because I grew up in Hong Kong, everyone's an aunt and an uncle, and out of respect, you're absolutely right, and I love that. So Renzo, that song that we shared on the show, Filipino Tayo, Isigaw Mo, you wrote that, right?
There were three of us who wrote that one, Miss Vilma. It was me and two of my uncles. So the other uncle was the one who wrote the words, the lyrics, and my other uncle and I wrote the melody for the song. And then I produced the music, on my laptop. And then basically that was a project from my college years. On my Filipino subject, so they told us to write a song about the Filipino or the Philippines, and yeah, that's basically the reason why the song is written.
It's like an anthem already. I mean, when I heard it, the first bar, I felt goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, this is a good song. That's how you actually can tell when it's a good song or not, when it's embedded in the music that you create. And I literally tell you that the hair stood up. So
Thank you so much.
kudos to you. And on a side note, you said that you produced that on your laptop. What's the software that you use?
Because we have different softwares. So the one that I used for the instrument was I don't know if you're familiar with FL Studio.
But I can Google that.
Yeah, so that's the one I used for the instruments, and for the vocals I used Adobe Audition for the recording of the vocals.
Okay. Okay, well that's good, but it's a great composition. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now we go way back how you started in the industry. Could you kind of, share that? I see you joined the reality show called Star Camp.
Yes, I did. Before Star Camp, or way before Star Camp, because I grew up in the province here in the Philippines, in the Western Visayas, province of Antique. So when I was in high school, that was the time that I took seriously the singing, and my uncle would help me learn how to vocalize and exercise my voice. And then here in the province, the people whenever there are events, they would invite me, to do a serenade for a local pageant. So that was the time I was discovered because the judges from the pageant were from Manila. So after the event, they gave us their number, and then they told us to why don't you try here in Manila, and see, because you have really a potential to do an album and stuff. And then when I came here in Manila, so that's the first thing that I did. I joined Star Camp. I auditioned for Star Camp, and it was really fun because it was a very different or a new experience for me, because my the people that I'm with in Star Camp are all Filipino Americans. So I think I was the only one that was a pure Filipino at that time, and I was from the province. So it was really, and I was kind of, I had a culture shock. But then as the show progressed, I finally got to adjust with them, and really I had a lot of fun doing the show. And so yeah, that's how I started with StarCamp. And then later on, after the show, I also tried to have a recording, and that was I auditioned for Star Music of ABS-CBN before, and luckily I was able to produce one executive play or EP with ABS-CBN, and after which, a few years later, we were able to collaborate also with Mr. Benny Saturno. So I was able to produce with him a second album, which is available in online also.
Yeah, it was actually prior to our interview. I was listening to your songs on YouTube, and I loved actually Kung Kailangan Mo Ako. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
The version is really nice. Yeah. So we'll probably play that as well. But tell us about the songs that you wrote for your first EP. I see that you had like Pagpatawad Mo.
Yes. So the first EP, it consists of 3 cover songs and 2 of the songs which I wrote. So three cover songs were the one you mentioned, Miss Vilma, was Ipagpatawad Mo, Kung Kailangan Mo Ako, and then I forgot the last one, Each Day With You. Yeah, and then the 2 other songs which I was able to write is called The Girl and See Each Other Again. It was really unexpected for me because those songs that I wrote them during my high school days, and then later on just do revisions. And it was like a dream come true for me, and to record it in an official recording studio here in the Philippines, and then later on would be included in the album. So I was really honored and humbled at the same time, because it's a privilege that the songs was released under a recording label.
Right. Doesn't it feel so good hearing something that you wrote, you start poetry and then put music into it, and all of a sudden here's the instrumentation, the orchestration, and then it's available out there, the digital market. It's amazing. GFN Global Filipino Network. So walk us through the process of how you write your songs.
Okay, so I think every songwriter has different preparation stages in writing a songs. Well, for me, I guess I treat it as like a journal, or writing a journal, or telling a story to everyone. there, every time I write a song, there's this scenario in my head. Like for example, like I would imagine like a music video already or a story of the characters, and then I would later incorporate it to my own personal experiences. And then sometimes I would lock myself in a room just to be on that concentration, to have that concentration to write the song. And then with the guitar, I put the chords with it, and then after which I record it in the phone, like a very rough recording, so that I won't forget the melody and how it would sound later on. And that is basically how I write my songs. It's like a journal, my journal, and then I share the story to the people.
That is so true because for me, I have like bits and pieces, or I have a notebook, or even on the phone, you have your notebook, and
Yeah.
you come across like a nice snippet of poetry, you just write. And then most recently, when I'm driving, I open my wave pad and go, okay, I'm singing while I'm driving because I really like this melody, and then it goes directly to my thing, to my laptop. But yeah, I mean, it's so true because songwriters have different ways of creating their music, and then the end result, of course, it's the final piece. But it is about your life. Which one has like struck you the most? Which one has like the biggest meaning? Which song? The one that you've written?
The one that I wrote.
Yeah,
Wow, that is a
biggest
very
impact.
yeah, that's a very difficult question actually, because each song has different meanings for me. But I guess the one that really struck me the most was the song that I wrote for my mom, which was I wrote it when I was in high school as well, and then I just recently released it like a few weeks ago. So I released it on the day of or the day before Mother's Day, because I really admire my mom for her for her courage raising us, for all the values she instilled in us. So I'm very grateful for my mom. So in a way, actually that song, which is entitled Melody for Mother, I was singing, or I recorded it with my siblings. So there's three of us there in the song, and that was our gift for our mom during this Mother's Day. So I think that song was one of the most meaningful songs for me because it's dedicated to someone, and I guess as a songwriter, when you dedicate a song to someone, it has a different impact, you know. So that is the, the song that has struck me the most. That's
I
good.
get you. I totally get you because a few of my songs, I have my siblings with me as well. And like one of my
Wow.
biggest dreams is like having my brother in it, my sisters in it, my nieces and nephew in it, my brother-in-law in it. I do have one song that everybody's in it, but I did write this song as well for my dad and my brother, and then my mom. And so, going back to your song, could you sing us a little bit of that? Could you share that your song for your mom, please?
Oh, of course, miss. Let me do a little warm up because I think I just woke up like 2 hours ago. I'm gonna drink a little.
Sure, sure, that's fine.
Okay, so the song goes like from the first verse. From the time that I was born into this world, you took care of me like a gentle flower. You were there for me from the start, and you protected me from every harm. I wrote this song, and I'll sing this for you. 'Cause I am proud to say that you're my mother. Your love for me isn't like the others. You're my greatest treasure in this world. And I thank God for giving me the most precious gift of my life. So
Wow, what an honor. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was
thank you.
beautiful. Yeah. So you speak Bisaya, right?
Yes, I do, miss.
Could you share something? Because I know that our listeners also some do speak the dialect. So anything you want to
Mhm.
say in that dialect, please.
Okay, so can you give me a sentence, miss, that you would like to be
Okay, sure.
translated in Bisaya?
Sure, like I'm so happy to be here, spending a little time with you, the audience, the viewers, and hope that the music that I sing for you will be meaningful for you, something like that.
Uh, so that was a very long sentence, but it's all right. So our Bisaya, actually Bisaya is a broad term because in Bisaya there are various dialects. So in Antique, our dialect is called Kinaraya. So to translate the sentence, so it would go like this. Sobra gid ako kalipay nga natuguran ka opportunity ah, nga mag-share kang istorya ko diya sa may uh, kaninyong atanan sa mga viewers. And what was the rest of the sentence again, miss?
And I hope that you will like my song.
At kagkabay pa nga inyo magustuhan ng aking nga mga ginsulat nga kanta. So
Ah,
so that is Kinaraya, a Bisaya dialect.
wow, that is so beautiful. Yeah. So now moving forward, what other projects that do you have in store? And I know because um, since the pandemic, everybody's kind of been put on hold. So all of the work and the goals have been, still. So what's your future projects?
It's true, miss. The pandemic really did hit us, in different ways. The pandemic also has pros and cons, I guess. But the pandemic gave me a lot of time with my family, and then later on, I was able to have the time to go back to the songs that I wrote. So last year, 2020, um, when I was in my province, that was the time I released the albums, the second album, the second EP rather, and then what I did this past few months was, I did revisit my old songs and then revised some of the lyrics, and then I did put an instrumentation on those songs, and then those songs would later on be, I plan it to share it with the people, the songs which I have not released yet. So that is the thing that I'm doing now while we're under this pandemic, which I guess really somehow it's a blessing in disguise too. But yeah, those are, and then the future plan is I also have songs that I'm still writing, and then later on hopefully would release it and share it with everybody else too.
Yeah. And another question: will you go? How is acting for you? Do you want to get into the TV shows and the movies? Because I think you have
Oh
the look. What they say,
wow.
that's it factor.
That's really interesting because I'm fond, or I'm interested, every time I see theater. I really admire theater, like the musical, the Broadway, and I really admire the acting side of theater, not just the singing. So sometimes, because when you're a singer, you are an actor as well. So you deliver the songs with not just the techniques but the emotions as well. But for acting, I'm not sure yet, but I'm not closing any doors. But we'll see.
Because I think that'll kind of lead you to the path. I mean, I can just sense it. That's all.
Oh, thank you.
And so, Renzo, your music, let's tell the viewers where they can get it.
Okay, Miss Vilma. So the songs that my songs is already available online for streaming and downloads. So it is available on Spotify, on Apple Music or iTunes, and then on Amazon. So they just have to type Renzo Vergara, and then the songs would appear in those sites. Thank you so much.
And we are gonna share a link on our page so that they can also click on and take them there. And then finally, what's the biggest realization you've had with regards to the pandemic for your personal, even what has it taught you?
Well, there are so many lessons that this pandemic has taught me. Well, because last year, because of the pandemic, most people lost their jobs, and I did as well. And the thing that the pandemic taught me was really, detachment, and then knowing the things that are within your control and are outside your control, and rather focusing on the things that is outside your control. I would redirect my attention to the things which I can control, and because of that, I was really grateful for the things that I have, because there are times when I would say to myself that I wish I had this. I wish during this time I'm supposed to be ahead by now. But then the pandemic taught me to be, we all live, or we all have our stories to tell. We all have our timelines. And I guess, just believing or just being present. I think that is the most important thing that the pandemic taught me. Being present, appreciating what I have now. And then because of it, happiness becomes a byproduct of that mindset. So it's really a peace of mind right now for me, and I'm hopeful for the future as well.
Wow, you're a good kid.
Very good.
Say, mabait na bata, a good kid.
Yeah.
Your mom and your siblings must be so proud of you. Wow. So thank you so much, Renzo, for being on the show. And we're going to be showing the viewers also your videos and your songs. And any last final messages to our viewers? Go ahead.
Okay, so to the viewers, wherever you're in the world, especially my Filipino brothers and sisters, I hope we all stay healthy and stay safe. And of course, I would like to take this moment as well to thank you, Ms. Vilma, for featuring me in the show. And I would like to thank also Ma'am Rosalie, Mother Celine, for the opportunity. This was really unexpected for me. And, to have this opportunity that my music, has been heard, especially Filipino music. So I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for having me here in this show. So I hope everybody, I wish everybody well. That is all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well, Miss Vilma.
Uy, guys, dali mag-selfie tayo. Dali.
What's up?
Uy, Renzo, dito ka.
Dito ka. Yan!
Okay, say hi.
Hi!
Guys!
Hi guys!
Sige. Uy,
Bakit?
free ka ba sa Friday? I mean, gusto mo bang lumabas nun?
7 p.m.?
Sige,
Tara.
tara.
Laging ikaw sa puso ko, mananatili ang damdamin ko sa'yo. Hindi magagawa na ikaw ay pasakitan ang aking pag-ibig. Ay ikaw lamang, kulang ang bawat sandali. Pag ika'y wala, kay hirap ngumiti. Maging ang buhay ko ilalaan sa'yo. Umasa kang ako'y hindi magbabago. Ipapangako na ikaw palagi ang tanging ibigin ko. Sa bawat sandali, ipapanalangin na sana ay ikaw na nga sa akin ang bigay ng tadhana. Kulang ang bawat sandali. Pag ika'y wala, kay hirap ngumiti. Maging ang buhay ko ilalaan sa'yo. Umasa kang ako'y hindi magbabago. Ipapangako na ikaw palagi ang tanging iibigin ko. Sa bawat sandali, ipapanalangin na sana ay ikaw na nga sa akin ang bigay ng tadhana. Whoa, whoa. Bawat sandali, ipapanalangin na sana ay ikaw na nga sa akin ang bigay ng tadhana. Sa akin ang bigay ng tadhana.
My music, my social media. Here you go. Find me on YouTube Music and Facebook, also Instagram, Reverb Nation, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, and all the streaming platforms. Vilma D. Ramos on YouTube, Vilma Live in LA on Instagram. Also, my Spotify is Vilma D. Ramos. My website on Reverb Nation, Vilma D. Ramos. YouTube Music, you got it, Vilma D. Ramos. My website is vilma.me. And thank you so much for subscribing. So much for being with me on Vilma Live in LA. We had such great guests: Renzo Vergara, Mercado, and Donna, Avellana, Kunzler. And don't forget that next week we are celebrating July 3rd. Well, actually, July 4th. So, it's our Independence Day. Again, thank you so much. You guys have been so wonderful. And truly from my heart to yours, I love you. And here it is. Bing.